All right, so ever since I started Fish, there's been this one specific fish that's always been talked about as being kind of like the mythicals of all mythical fish in the game, and one that you've probably seen a lot of people flex, even though realistically, a lot of them are just usually given to the person and they actually didn't catch it themselves. Specifically, what I'm talking about is the mythical spectral serpent that is found inside of the brine pool, which is sort of more or less a little secret area here inside of Desolate Deep. I mean, I guess if you want to be technical, it's not super secret since a lot of people know about it now, but because this game has gained so much popularity over the last, week or two, there's a lot of players that are fairly new, including myself. I mean, I consider myself fairly new, even though I technically do have 80 hours in the game, and most of my stats are really not that amazing. Either way, last night I was able to finally accomplish the one dream that I pretty much had left in this game, but unfortunately, that did cost me my 1030 streak that I had going on, which is by far the longest streak that I've ever had. But anyways, before we get into all of that, I want to go ahead and explain to some of you guys that maybe are interested in actually getting your own serpent. So again, right now we are in Desolate Deep, more specifically the Desolate Pocket, which is where you would come to in order to complete your bestiary, bestiary, whatever it is that you want to call it. Right over there is usually where you'd be standing to either fish or to drop all of your cages. Right across from it, there's this sort of little parkour area that you have to go through. Now, in order to be able to get to the brine pool, you are going to have to purchase the glider, which can be bought right over there where the merchant is. And it's literally as simple as just climbing up here, then coming around the corner here, jumping, pressing your glider, landing on this platform, doing the same exact thing, and you are finally there. And you just climb all the way up and you make your way through this little tunnel here. Eventually, when you get to the end, you will be at the brine pool. Now, most notably, this area is probably even more famous now, not so much for the serpent, but really for what's right around this corner right here, which if you sort of just squeeze through the wall here, this is where you would come to buy the Aurora totem for 500k. Over here where the serpent is, it feels like a lot of people have sort of given up. When I first started this game, man, I remember that somebody flexed their serpent to me and they told me that it took them 3 days of fishing inside of here to finally be able to go ahead and catch it. Some people struggle with actually reeling it in, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why that is the case. And other people just struggle to actually get it to spawn for them. The spawn rate for this fish is actually pretty insane. And to make matters worse, you can't actually fish inside of here with just a regular rod. You need to make sure that you're only using the reinforced rod. And I guess this is the moment where our story kind of begins. If you notice, my reinforced rod right now has resilience. If you were in any of my private servers last night, especially while all of this was going down, you'll probably know that we had a conversation where people were asking me what they should put on their reinforced rod, because there was actually a lot of you guys that were joining in on the entire serpent hunt. So it was really, really cool. Now, at the time, my answer to that question was, if you're not a coward, then you'll put hasty or divine on it. But if you are a coward, then you'll put resilient. Well, as you can see from the clip that I am showing you on the screen right now, this was my very first ever encounter with the spectral serpent, and by no means was I a coward at all. In this clip, I am using a reinforced rod with divine, and I'm gonna be honest, man, I was confident. I went in there with weird algae bait because somebody told me that that was gonna be better because they felt like truffle was kind of bugged, and needless to say, that lasted for like a solid 40 seconds. Reason for this is because the spectral serpent is the only fish in the entire game that has a negative 80% progress loss whenever you don't have the fish bar inside of the white bar. Now, if you played during the Halloween event, then you probably know that Nessie was the other fish that actually had this, but because Nessie is no longer available in the game, the spectral serpent is the hardest fish in the entire game to get. Now, this right here is the culprit that I am talking about. This is usually what it's going to look like when you do fish it up. Assuming you don't get one that has a mutation and stuff like that, it'll usually be around this size, maybe a little bit bigger if you're lucky. But if you've ever seen these in game, they're absolutely massive. 99% of the time is because people appraise them. And going back to what I said at the start of the video, this is actually one that was gifted to me. So I was indeed one of those people that just never had caught it before or even had encountered it. So instead, I opted to just accept the gift from somebody. So that way I felt good about myself. Now, this big guy right here, This is the one that I caught last night. The very one. The only difference is that I did appraise it. Again, in order to get it to this size, you really need to appraise it unless you're just insanely lucky. This one in particular is 24,455 kg. So let's just go ahead and enjoy my time-lapse music while I show you guys the next 1 minute and 10 seconds of me encountering this bad boy and finally catching it, because this is honestly an incredibly honorable moment for me, even though I did choose to be a coward and I used resilience. So as you can see, it looks like a fairly easy catch. I mean, it looks pretty normal. And I'm going to be honest, the reason why it was like that is because I just got incredibly lucky. Again, as I said before, the reason that it is so difficult is because of the fact that every single time that you get that fish bar out of the white bar, then it starts dropping incredibly fast. The comment section for this video is going to be really interesting. The people that didn't use Resilient are going to be absolutely roasting me, which I deserve it. I deserve it. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. To those of you out there that have caught it with Hasty or with Divine or even with Steady, I applaud you. I really do. I have nothing but the utmost respect for you. And a little off topic, but I also want to show you guys another one that I have, which was given to me by my friend Mio. This is a sparkling, shiny, big spectral serpent, which is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I was going to say insane, but it's actually beautiful. This is my favorite one. Again, it was a gift. Technically, this should be my favorite one, but this one is just absolutely beautiful. Now, as a matter of fact, I don't think I've ever checked the prices of any of these. Technically, the one that I caught, I appraised to be bigger than the sparkling shiny one, but I'm still kind of curious to see what the prices on these are. So let's transition over to Moosewood so I can check this really quick. All right, so the regular one that I have is valued at 8,343. So not really anything too crazy, although for a fish that's more or less completely regular, I would say that's a really, really good price. Now, as for the one that I caught last night and I appraised, this one is valued at 16,931. Pretty mid also as well. Not really anything too insane. The sparkling shiny big one, on the other hand, is valued at 53,227. So that is about the same exact price as an Aurora Captain goldfish the day of release. Little itty bitty tiny goldfish is worth the same exact as a ginormous spectral serpent. I guess that just goes to show you how busted the goldfishes were when they released. Now, as I mentioned before, man, if you are in the market to be able to go ahead and fish your own spectral serpent, keep in mind you are going to need the reinforced rod. You can go ahead and use things like weird algae to help you go ahead and catch it, because the weird algae does have universal luck. But realistically, truffle worms is the specific bait that the spectral serpent likes, and that'll go ahead and give you preferred luck 300. Unfortunately, it will give you a -10 lure speed, but honestly, it really isn't that much of a big deal. Just know that it's going to take you a really long time for the serpent to actually spawn. I would say that I was fairly lucky because we did have 4x luck on the server running. So my first one spawned within about 15 minutes and my second one spawned about an hour and a half later. But yeah, man, let me know in the comments your spectral serpent story if you have one. If you don't, let me know if you plan on doing it yourself. A little bit of a shorter video today. It's just that this happened last night. Not exactly what I even had planned to upload today, but I had the clips and a lot of you in the Discord server were telling me that I should go ahead and upload this. So just kind of wanted to share the story with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you did, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. We're just days away from the brand new update that's going to be super sick. But that's pretty much going to go ahead and do it for this video. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.